So, in today's episode of Both Sides Are Not the Same, we're going to talk about how Donald Trump has treated immigrants over the years and the things he's said about them versus what Joe Biden is actually doing to help them. From the minute Donald Trump came down the escalator, he was blaming immigrants for all of our problems. And I've never understood those arguments. I'm going to talk more on that later. But from day one, it was we got to build a wall and we got to get them out. And now he's out there talking about how that they're poisoning the blood of our country and how that on his first day in office, we're going to see the largest deportation in history. He's going to get rid of them because they're the root of our problem. And folks, I have a hard time wrapping my mind around that kind of thing because I remember growing up in the 1980s and hearing a Republican president talk about how that we were a nation of immigrants and how that we all come here to seek a better way and that we should all have the same rights and work together for the good of the country and that everyone comes here to achieve the American dream. That's some of my earliest memories seeing a Republican president use those talking points. How far the Republican Party has fallen now. They're into the hands of a man saying that he wants to root them out because they're poisoning the blood. But the good news is Joe Biden is going to work to help immigrants, and he has passed an executive order which will protect immigrants' spouses and their children. And I'm reading right here from Midas Touch. Check this out. President Biden announced new protections for undocumented individuals Tuesday by allowing non-citizen spouses and children of citizens to apply for permanent resident status without leaving the country. This executive action will protect approximately 500,000 spouses of U.S. citizens and approximately 50,000 non-citizen children under the age of 21 who is married to a U.S. citizen from deportation. Now, in this article that I'm once again reading from Midas Touch, it does say this. In order to be eligible, non-citizens must, as of June 17, 2024, have resided in the United States for 10 or more years and be legally married to a U.S. citizen while satisfying all applicable legal requirements. On average, those who are eligible for this process have resided in the U.S. for more than 23 years. Folks, I am so glad that President Biden has took these actions to help secure protection for families. I've known people who have been affected by this, and so I'm really glad to see these things being put in place to help them. And it's so good to see a president talking about immigrants in a humane way, because I'm not even going to play you all the clips. We've seen them of Donald Trump talking about how bad immigrants are. I don't want to even give him the microphone on this one. I want to give the microphone to a man of decency and a man who speaks about immigrants the way they should be. So this is how a real president speaks about immigrants.
We can both secure the border and provide legal pathways to citizenship. But we have to acknowledge that the patience and goodwill of the American people is being tested by their fears at the border. They don't understand a lot of it. These are the fears my predecessor is trying to play on when he says immigrants, and his words are poison the blood of the country. When he calls immigrants, in his words, animals. When he was president, he separated families and children at the border. And now he's proposing to rip spouses and children from their families and homes and communities and place them in detention camps. He's actually saying these things. It's hard to believe it's being said, but he's actually saying these things out loud. And it's outrageous. Folks, I'm not interested in playing politics with the border or immigration. I'm interested in fixing it. I said it before. I've said it before, and I'll say it again today. I will work with anyone to solve these problems. That's my responsibility as president. That's our responsibility as Americans. Because the simple truth is, there's not a single damn thing we can't do if we put our minds to it. We got to remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America, and nothing is beyond our capacity. We're a nation of immigrants.
Folks, that's how I want to hear a president talk. That's how I want to hear them address a situation. I'm so tired of hearing Donald Trump demonize immigrants. I'm so tired of him saying that his way of fixing things is to run them out of the country. That's not what we need. I love how Joe Biden said, I'm not here to play politics. I'm here to fix the problem, and I will work with anyone to fix that problem. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a us versus them kind of mentality. We're supposed to be working together. If Donald Trump truly cared about the problem, he would work alongside Joe Biden to fix it, and it wouldn't be about his ego. It wouldn't be about who won, because that's not what this is about. This isn't about Donald Trump winning or Joe Biden winning. This is about families. And this is about protecting them and helping them to have a better way of life in this country. Joe Biden talks about what he's going to be doing to help the families in this next clip, and I think it's very important we take a look at it.
I'm announcing today it was about keeping families together. My dad used to have an expression. He said, Joey, family's about the beginning, middle, and the end. About keeping couples together who are married, where one spouse is a U.S. citizen, the other is undocumented. They've been living in the United States for at least 10 years. These couples have been raising families, sending their kids to church and school, paying taxes, contributing to our country for 10 years or more. Matter of fact, the average time they've spent here is 23 years, people were affected today. But living in the United States all this time with fear and uncertainty. We can fix that, and that's what I'm going to do today.
You see, I've never understood the argument against immigrants. It's never made any sense to me because I've worked along beside them. And I've saw them show up 2 hours before the rest of us got there. We used to get there at 7 o'clock in the morning. They were there at 5. We would get off at 3:30 in the afternoon. They would stay till 8 in the afternoon. And they were working for less than the rest of us. And meanwhile, people would stand back and say, they're lazy and they're stealing our job. And I'm like, what sense does that make? They're doing the very job you don't want to do. And whenever we fell behind, they would come over to help us out. And I would hear people say things like, well, I don't want them coming around. They might steal something. And I'm like, no, the real reason why you don't want them coming around is because they're going to work circles around you. They're going to make you work faster and you don't want to do it. And I've actually said that to people and had them say, well, yeah, I ain't going to kill myself for this, man. I ain't doing it. That's my exact point. You're not going to do these jobs. So who's going to do it? If we send all the immigrants home, who's going to build the wall? Because I don't know of any white dude that's going to get out there in the sun and do it. That's the whole argument. Their whole argument falls apart really fast, and it just circles back to their prejudice and their bigotry and their way of having a boogeyman to blame all their problems on. Donald Trump has never one time said, I'll work with Joe Biden to fix the problem. He's never one time said, I'll work with anybody to fix the problem. He's never one time said, it's not about playing politics. I'm here to fix the problem. It's let's just send everybody home. Let's just run everybody out of our country. Meanwhile, we are a nation of immigrants. All of us came from immigrants. That's how we're here. So everybody should be here. Everybody should be protected, and everybody should have a right to make a living for themselves. And if you want to sit and demonize the immigrants, ask yourself, would you do the job that they're doing for the price they're doing it? I've sat and carried on conversations with them, and I've picked their brains, and I've asked all the tough questions. And I remember one time talking with one, and I asked the question, well, do you ever fear about being arrested? And what he said to me was humbling and sad. He said, no, because your jail cells are much safer than any place I've ever been. And I'm going to sit and demonize that guy. I'm going to sit and say that guy's stealing my job. He's working harder than I am, and he's doing it for less. And he's doing it knowing that he come here for a better way. He come here to make a better way for his family. And he's trying to do the best that he can. Why in the hell would I demonize that guy? Why in the hell would I want to see his child ripped away from him and sent back home? Why in the hell would I want to see his wife sent back home? It makes no sense to me. Why I would wish that on another human being who just came here to make a better way for themselves. That's why I can't align myself with Donald Trump and that side. And that's why I can't say both sides the same. Because I've not heard Donald Trump say he would fix the problem other than sending people home that was just trying to make a better way for themselves. I've not heard Donald Trump say that he would stop playing politics and get to work. He's never said that. It's all about him and his agenda and their agenda. And their agenda hurts other people. And that's why I can't get behind it. And that's why that I'm never going to say I'm undecided. That's why I'm never going to say I'm independent. That's why I'm never going to say I'm on the fence. Because I'm on the side with decency. I'm on the side where everybody gets a fair shot. I'm on the side where working families are protected. That's who I stand with. That's where I cast my vote. And I don't care where they came from. I know they came from some bad places, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. And that's what Donald Trump has done this entire time. Oh, they're not sending their best and brightest. They're coming from mental institutions. Bullshit. That's fear and propaganda and bullshit. And the most hypocritical part of all of this, if I must say, is watching the old white dudes hire them and then vote for Trump. That's the part that used to really rub me wrong the most, was like, yeah, you're sitting there with a damn Trump sticker on your truck and you're spouting all of his talking points, but yeah, you're hiring them to do the work that the white guys won't do. That used to really get under my skin. I want to see people get a fair shake in this world, and I want to see people have a better way in this world. And I don't care where they came from, because at the end of the day, once you come here and you contribute to this country, then we're all Americans. And I'll stand by your right to be one any day of the week.